Hi lovies, welcome back to today's video. I am bulk filming, so you're gonna see this outfit a lot today, okay? But I am going to react to the many toxic relationships of Juice WRLD because I saw this video on my For You page and I wanted to save it for you guys. I figured it would make a perfect reaction video, especially because I'm always asking y'all questions about Ally and like Juice WRLD's relationships and what they have looked like, so like why not react together? So without further ado guys, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for engagement, and we're gonna get right into it.
One of the reasons why Juice WRLD's music was loved by everyone was because how real his feelings were, and you knew behind every song he wrote there was a dark, twisted love story that took place in his life, which caused him to pour out every emotion into his songs, making him one of the greatest artists in recent years. However, as I stated, these stories were real, not fabricated fantasies he made in his head, with every single song he wrote being an experience in many of his past toxic relationships. Whether it was being cheated on by his freshman girlfriend while he was a senior, or his troubles with substances that his fiancée promoted, Juice was the victim of many toxic relationships. So what happened in these relationships? How did Juice WRLD suffer so tragically with every girlfriend he had? And ultimately, were these dark past experiences a big reason for Juice's death? Many of you will know the iconic album Goodbye and Good Riddance, Juice WRLD's debut.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna cut him off right there because a lot of y'all have schooled me in my comments, right? About how Juice's addiction was not the fault of anyone's, right? Because I pointed out a lot how I previously, okay, keyword previously, felt like a lot of people around Juice enabled him. Until I got to part 4 of Juice WRLD Into the Abyss. And they were all talking about how they were doing their best to, you know, not feed into his addiction and to not enable him, but he was just so far gone that there wasn't anything that anyone could do, you know what I mean? So I'm intrigued to see what point he's gonna make, if it's going to be biased. We're gonna read the comments at the end of this video, but I just want to proceed with the fact that I've been listening to y'all. I've been hearing what you say in the comments, okay? So anyways, I'm sorry for Arlo. He's... Arlo, shh.
Studio project where he explains the struggles he deals with in the relationship he is in. Now the girl he was talking about in these songs was his ex, called Bella, with the album actually originally being uploaded to SoundCloud with the cover and title Fuck You Bella. The two started dating on the 20th of October in 2016, which can be confirmed by this Twitter post celebrating their 1-month anniversary, where Bella posted a tweet captioned, "Even though you look like a burnt peanut sometimes, you're still the one. Happy 1 month," where she attached 4 images.
Bitch, I'm sorry. What? You look like a burnt peanut? What is that supposed to mean? You look like a burnt peanut sometimes. Why a burnt peanut, bitch? I already don't like you.
Of them. And damn, she kind of cooked him with that one. At this point in time, Juice was a senior about to turn 18, while Bella was still a freshman at 14 years old. Now, I'm not here to slander a dead man, but it's just something that is constantly brought up when I was researching their relationship. Now, the two wouldn't be together for long, as they would break up around the March of 2017, which can be seen from a series of tweets released by Juice WRLD relating to heartbreak and wanting to get his girlfriend back, with some of them reading, "I'm really living my nightmares right now. I want her like I never had her. If I hurt you, I'm sorry." Now, with this burst of tweets around the 17th of March, this is a day people speculate they broke up, but we never actually got a reason why. A fan on Reddit stated that apparently she cheated on him, but that is not confirmed, and she would actually speak about this later down the line. Something else that happened on the 17th of March was the first Juice WRLD Nick Mira produced song would be released, called Too Much Cash, which obviously was an important moment in Juice WRLD history, as the two would go on to make legendary songs together. The following day after the song released, on the 18th of March, Juice would perform at his first show, which he would celebrate by posing, holding the $100 bill he earned from the show. He would also reference his first show in the song Fall Back, released in the April of 2017, with the lyrics, "Last night I had my first show, it was too rad. Even though I only made 100 in all cash, whole crowd jumping to my music and all that. Rockstar status, baby, that's what you call that." On the 24th of March, Juice would then tweet, "You were supposed to be my Cali girl," which references their recent breakup and the upcoming trip he and Bella were supposed to take to California. Bella, but of course they broke up, so she never went with him. Damn, can Americans fly at 14 by themselves? Anyway, however, Juice still ended up going.
Yes, fucking 7-year-olds fly by themselves. I mean, I don't know if that's still a thing, but like I remember back in the day, my mom used to send my brothers on, you know, like trips to see my nana for the summer. Yeah, they can fly by themselves. The fuck? I don't know if that's still a thing, but yes, 14-year-olds can fly by themselves. 7-year-olds fly by themselves. I'm not saying it's okay, but.
Which inspired his SoundCloud project, Heartbroken in Hollywood, released on the 12th of April in 2017. At first, it was released under the name Bella Broke Me, but was later switched to Heartbroken in Hollywood. This EP featured only 2 songs, Fall Back and Hollywood Dreams. It was seen as a bit unusual that the project only had 2 songs, even though it was released as an EP on SoundCloud. However, fans came up with a theory that it was because Bella was holding him back from his dreams, therefore only needed 2 tracks to tell the story. During this period, Juice WRLD was already a sad emo rapper, as that was the wave back in the day. However, this breakup ultimately left him very depressed, which fortunately for him and for us led to him making some of the greatest music of his generation. After his and Bella's breakup, he would first release a project, Juice WRLD 999, on the 15th of June in 2017, the 8-song EP featuring the hit song Lucid Dreams, which of course, as we know, changed his career, appearing on 18 charts for 509 weeks straight, going certified diamond and having 2.5 million streams on Spotify in the current day. After a self-titled EP, he would release Binge Drinking Music and Nothing's Different towards the end of 2017, with the latter project containing another one of Juice WRLD's hit songs, All Girls Are the Same. Now, just over a year after they broke up, on the 23rd of May in 2018, Juice WRLD would release Goodbye and Good Riddance, which was originally supposed to be released as Fuck You Bella. However, I'm guessing after signing to a label and also not wanting to harass his at the time 14-year-old ex-girlfriend publicly, he changed it. But someone on his label, responsible for releasing the project, messed up and posted the album to streaming services as Fuck You Bella, with also the cover also having red large text of the album title and the interludes also being aimed towards Bella. Shortly after this, it would be changed though, and Juice would DM Bella apologizing to her, saying someone forgot to change the preset and it wasn't even his idea. And after the album was released, that was the last time we would hear of Juice and Bella. Well, that was up until he tragically passed away in the December of 2019, where Bella made an Instagram post where she released a gallery of pictures and videos of them, captioned, "There are a million different things I could say right now." Then 6 months after his passing, she would make another post with a fat paragraph explaining how she was saddened by his passing. She would further explain how the two actually had a healthy relationship. She would also clarify the cheating rumors in a comment, as a fan asked, "Why did you guys break up? Were you cheating?" To which she replied with, "If I just said I didn't, then I didn't. Did he ever say I did? No." Which I guess showed the rumors up about her cheating. Now we really don't know the ins and outs of this relationship like the ones he had later in his life, especially as it was a bit of a just flingy high school relationship. However, from the music he made and the tweets he posted, we can see even though they were together for such a short period of time, their breakup had a detrimental effect on him, which led to him making some insane music, leaving an impact on the world forever. So shout out Bella. Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're enjoying so far, I'd appreciate if you could subscribe.
Okay, I will say though, like I feel like, I don't know, calling it like a fling, like I understand, like sure it wasn't like his relationship with Allie, but at the same time I feel like we all remember our first heartbreak. That was like an influential developmental time in everyone's life, you know. So even if it was like a short fling or whatever, you know, I understand she was 14. I don't really think it's that weird because they were both still in high school together. Like I don't know, like I feel like when you're in your teenage years, personally in my opinion, it's not like the craziest thing for like a senior to date a freshman. Personally, I don't feel that way, just because like you're both underage, you're fucking teenagers, you know what I mean? But like I do feel like it is still a very influential time in your life. Like they say your teenage years are like the shortest span of life you will experience, but it's the most influential as well. So like I feel like, I don't know, like I don't know. I'm trying not to diss this narrator guy so hard, right? But like I don't know, I already feel like I'm gonna be disagreeing with a lot of shit he says.
subscribe, like and comment. I'm trying to get to 30k subs ASAP, so I'd appreciate that. Let's get back to the video. After Juice ended things with Bella, someone new was slowly coming into the picture, which would end up changing his life for the better or the worse. Alexia Smith, better known as Starfire, had a life ahead of her when being introduced to hip-hop's new superstar, Juice WRLD. She just left Florida to go back to her hometown in Chicago. Starfire started creating music in 2017 and wanted to continue her passion by going to a new recording studio where she could record, make friends, and network. However, while at the studio, she would meet an old friend who was actually an engineer. He recognized her and told her to contact this artist who he thinks she would get along with, as they made similar music to each other.
We all made music and hung out there, and he was like, yo, you need to meet this guy, like, you guys are gonna get along, like, you guys are just gonna click, just trust me, you have to meet him, okay? And so I listened.
At first, she doubted even texting him, as she thought he wouldn't want to work with her, or he may not even respond at all. However, she then saw Juice show up on her Insta timeline, in which she took as a sign to message him, and to her surprise, he would reply. They would both go back and forth, quickly forming a strong bond. They clicked so well that she decided to meet him in LA just 2 days after messaging him. Once meeting in LA, they would officially get together almost immediately because everything was aligning for the two. Star said they both quickly fell in love, and Star was seemingly a good influence on the Chicago rapper. There have been numerous songs towards a relationship, one of the songs literally being titled Starfire, where Juice is saying, "And for you, I will fly through the hell, through the flames, always, always love you always." And Starfire, you set my heart on fire, 420 Blaze. However, even though the two's relationship was going well, there would also be many situations behind the scenes where they had many dark incidents. As the two would eventually break up sometime in the summer of 2018, which was just supposedly due to toxicity in the relationship, well, shortly after they broke up, everything about their relationship would start coming out into the public. In an interview with Benny Blanco in late 2018, Juice would expose something he did while in the relationship with Starfire.
So I stopped talking to her. I was supposed to actually link with her and shit, but I stopped talking to her because I saw this other girl who was real beautiful. So I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna vibe with this type shit, right? And wow, all this was going on when I was with my ex. She's gonna find out I cheated.
Nothing has to.
Oh no, I want this to come out.
It's all in the past.
It's all in the past. I'm happily in a relationship now, a loyal one.
Now in that clip, Juice stated that he cheated on Starfire as he met a new girl who actually was Ali Lottie, who I will talk about later on. Due to this video clip from Juice WRLD, Star would release a now deleted video titled "The Ugly Reality of My Last Relationship," where she exposed their dark past.
And so his excuse for cheating on me is that I treated him bad and that I said mean things to him. Basically, I'm debunking that excuse. So now he's left with no excuses at all except the fact that he's an asshole.
One of the first bumps in their relationship, which started.
Okay, yeah, I don't condone cheating. I don't condone cheating at all. I have many story times on my channel about my exes who cheated all over me, okay? Don't condone it at all. But I will say, and this is not excusing Juice's behavior, okay? I feel like that's so hard to be coming up in your career to really have a stable relationship. I feel like that is, it's hard because, I can only imagine what it would be like to go from being just a regular, ordinary person to be coming up in your career, getting all of this new attention. And like I said, I'm not condoning his cheating, okay? I just think it's a lot. And I think we have to remember how fucking young he was, okay? And come on, people make mistakes. Shit happens. And I think the fact that he was willing to talk about it and was like, no, I want this to come out. I'm in a happy relationship now, a loyal one. And you never know what goes on behind closed scenes. And like I said, I don't condone cheating. I think it's wrong. I think you shouldn't be in a relationship if you plan to cheat. I don't think he planned to cheat, but I do feel like it is worth recognizing the time of life he was in. Now, I will say, I did not know who she was. I never even, the only relationship I've ever known is Allie. And, I guess it's interesting because, they say the same way you lose them or the same way you get them is the same way you'll lose them, right? So I wonder, I guess, if Allie knew about this girl. I'm assuming not. But I think it's interesting I get, oh, I sound like a bitch to say I think it's interesting that Allie was the one, like, he ended up with for so long. But, like, I don't know, maybe he truly did meet his soulmate in Allie. Doesn't condone any of the, any of the cheating or anything like that. But, I don't know. I don't know why this girl, she just doesn't give me the best vibes. She doesn't give me the most genuine vibes. So, like, I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to believe, like, Juice being such a lover boy, clearly, in all of his music and seemingly in his relationships, it doesn't seem like he was in a ton of them, at least so far. And for him to be such a lover boy, it makes it hard for me to believe that their relationship was, like, 100% healthy on both sides, and he just decided to go after something that was just the more beautiful girl. I'm assuming there was a lot that was going on between those two that we won't ever know. Maybe it'll come out in this, but yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents on that.
Talks about was when Bella, Juice's freshman ex-girlfriend, would get in contact with her, where Star confronted her as Bella was supposedly asking Juice for free concert tickets. Now, Juice was tell Star beforehand that she's just a 17-year-old girl he dated in high school, but things simply didn't go well between the two. But after Star messaged Bella, she learned that when they dated, allegedly Bella was 14 and Juice was turning 18. And I'm just saying allegedly because I don't want to get into trouble, but if you compare both their dates of birth, that was their ages while the two were together. After Starfire found out Juice was dating a 14-year-old, this is what she had.
Okay, what are your guys' thoughts? Truthfully, like, I'd like to know. Because I personally, and it just might be my own personal bias, I think there's a huge difference between a 14-year-old and someone who is turning 18 to, like, a 25-year-old dating a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, am I crazy for feeling like it's a bit of a stretch to try and make it seem like Juice was doing something predatory for dating a girl in high school while he was in high school? I don't know. That's always something that's kind of, like, rubbed me the wrong way. How, like, as soon as you turn 18, you're already, you're an adult and anything you do with a minor is inappropriate. Like, I understand that's the law. But at the same time, I remember being 18, and I was a baby. I have an August birthday, so I had never turned 18 in high school. But even if I did turn 18 my senior year, I wasn't any more grown than I was at 17, at 18. As much as I like to think I was grown and think I was an adult, I was not. I was still a teenager. And I think that's the other thing. 18, you are still a fucking teenager. You know what I mean? Like, just because you have the right to vote and you have the right to be, you have the right to fucking be drafted, you still don't have the right to drink alcohol. You don't have the right to smoke weed. You don't have the right to fucking really do anything actual adults are able to do. So, like, I don't know. I think that's something that I've always kind of stood firm in, where, like, if you're in high school and you're dating another high schooler who just so happens to turn 18, I don't think it's just some weird predatory act. I think it looks a lot different if you have, like, past 20 dating a teenager. I think, okay, that's where you're like, okay, like, even then, like, a 20-year-old and, say, like, a 17-year-old, like, that's a 3-year difference. I don't know. I hate kind of, like, the technicalities and, like, what we deem as taboo and, like, inappropriate, when in some cases it's fucking not. I don't think Juice was doing anything predatory dating his high school girlfriend while he was in high school. Might be an unpopular opinion, but, like, I think that's just a stretch in my opinion.
To say.
So yeah, I did tell him that I hated him. I told him that I thought he was a bad person, because I don't stand behind these 18, 19, 20-year-old men fucking on 13, 14, and 15-year-old girls.
Okay, see that, and this is what I mean, that's a stretch. She just said, I don't stand by these 18, 19, 20-year-old men fucking around with 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. Juice was not 18 when he started dating this 14-year-old girl. So why is it as soon as he turns 18, their relationship becomes this predatory thing? Like, am I crazy for that? For thinking that that's a weird assumption to make? And like, I don't like the way she put it. I don't condone these 18, 19, 20-year-old men dating these 13, 14, 15-year-old girls. Juice was not a 20-year-old man dating a 13-year-old girl. He was at a point in time a 17-year-old teenage boy dating a 14-year-old girl, and he just so happened to turn 18 in their relationship. What is so wrong with that? I don't know. I guess like maybe when I'm a parent one day my ideals will shift, but personally I remember who I was at 18. Still a fucking baby, still a kid, still thinking like a kid. I don't know. I think that's just like I don't like the insinuations. I don't like that.
It's crazy. Like there's such a big like difference like in your head with maturity, with your innocence level.
No, there's not. There's not. I'm sorry. Like maybe for some very mature people, maybe. But like at the very same time, right? And like you can argue with me in the comments, but it's pretty proven that men mature a little bit slower than women. And you know, that's not like a dig or anything, but even as a fucking 18-year-old teenage boy, because 18, you are still a teenager. What maturity does he have? You know what I mean? Like I also remember who I was at 14. Definitely way more mature than most of my peers, probably. But like the shift from 14 to 18, I don't think mentally there's a ton of development happening there. I think emotionally and physically, yeah, you're growing, you're going through puberty and shit, your emotions, your hormones are changing. But I don't think your maturity level is shifting that much between 14 and 18. And I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just get fucking hammered in my comments for having this opinion. But just me, knowing who I was between the ages of 14 and 18, I can't tell you there was a huge significant change. If anything, the most significant change that happened was 18 to 22. I went through a lot of fucking shit and changes in that amount of time. Between 14 and 18, there was not a whole lot of maturity that was developing. I just hate the way I hate the way she's trying to paint this right now. And I knew I didn't feel good vibes about her. There was something about her. And like it also, it kind of leads me to believe, like, did you really not know about his previous relationship when you got into a relationship with him? Like, I understand everything moved quickly, but did you guys not ever have that conversation? I don't know. It just seems like a lot of trying to make a situation out of something that was not that deep. I'm sorry. I just... In this particular situation, okay? I'm not speaking for all 18-year-olds and 14-year-olds, and, you know, I'm sure there's... not even sure. I know there's shit that happens that shouldn't happen, that is inappropriate. And for some people, I could understand why it's wrong. But in this particular situation, when Juice WRLD was not 18 when he started dating her, they were in fucking high school together. I don't think it's that weird. I think this is just trying to paint him in a negative light.
Things that you're exposed to, and like in my opinion, that's just really fucked up, and I don't stand behind that at all.
Starfire found about this months deep into their relationship, and to say the least, she was mortified. She felt like she didn't even know who Juice was.
I was already dating him at this point. We were months into a relationship, and I was freaking out because I was like, okay, like, do I not even know my boyfriend? Like, who is this guy? Like, do I not know you at all? Because he was lying. He tried to tell me that she was lying, but I was like, bro, no. Because, like, I went through her, like, Twitter, I went through her pictures. I started, you know, like, girl mode, I started stalking shit, and I seen pictures of them together. They were still there.
She would then say he was allegedly a mega liar.
That's all he does is lie. He lies to me, he lies to you guys, he lies to his mom, he lies to everybody.
And after this, Star basically wanted to break things off with him due to the things he said, which is when he would start crying and throwing up, and like, damn. I mean, I guess they didn't have Andrew Tate back in 2018.
He was crying, he was bawling his eyes out, he was throwing up, he begged me to learn to forgive him. He begged me not to leave. So I said okay, and that I'd stay, because I loved him, you know?
So now the
So how can you in one sentence say that you don't condone this, you don't stand by this, and it was such a big issue, but you decide to stay? I feel like that makes your argument invalid. How are you, Arlo? Fuck, bro, stop it. I'm sorry, I just feel like that makes your argument invalid if you are going so hard about how something is so wrong and it bothered you so much, but you decided to stay with him out of love. How can you then, after the fact, go back and say that was so wrong, that was disgusting, this, that, and the other, when you knew? I understand you didn't know at the beginning. A couple months into it, you now know. But you make the conscious decision to stay with him, despite what you know. It clearly wasn't that big of an issue. I'm sorry. In my opinion, it clearly was not that big of an issue because you chose to stay. At that point in time, when you discovered the truth, you had every opportunity to say, nope, that's not for me. You would be fair. That would be fair. Once you have all of the knowledge you know to make an informed decision, but you decide to go against what you claim are your moral standards, I feel like you cannot then go back after the relationship is over and be like, he was so fucked up for that. Because clearly he wasn't that fucked up for it if you stayed. And I don't know, I don't feel like I'm a bitch for saying that, because it's not like this was like an abusive relationship where he's manipulating her. You know what I mean? Or at least from what I'm picking up, okay? I could be wrong, but so far there's been no evidence to support that claim. Right? So it's not like it's like this manipulative relationship from what I'm getting. So you had the information you needed to make an informed decision. You chose to stay. So how are you later on going to go back and say he was so fucked up for this, that, and the other? Because at the end of the day, you decided to stay. So are you not just as fucked up of an individual for staying with a person like that, that you deem is so wrong for that decision? Does that not make you complacent? In my opinion, it does. But
months in this relationship, they had a small bump, but Juice apologized, Star forgave him, and it seems like everything was fine. Well, that wouldn't be the case.
Then, a couple weeks later, I still didn't trust him because things just seemed sus. Like, he just seemed sketchy at this point. I didn't trust him. And so he started making songs about how I couldn't learn to forgive him. He was trying to flip the script, turn the tables, make it my fault, right? That's manipulative as fuck. That's another red flag that I didn't pick up on.
So now,
you know what is a red flag? What a true red flag is? Forgiving someone and then constantly reminding them of the faults that they made. That's not forgiveness. I learned that the hard way through my past relationship, where I found out, he cheated on Valentine's Day, all of that, and I tried to make it work. I told him I forgave him, and I've realized I couldn't. The relationship was going to be toxic, and it just had to end. So it's equally, in my opinion, and I'm not saying Juice is 100% innocent here, okay? I'm not saying that. I stand by my opinion that the whole age difference thing, while they're both in high school, is not that fucking crazy to me. I don't think it's this big, weird, pedophilic, they were both kids, in my opinion, okay? And I might be biased. Maybe I'm biased because I like Juice. I don't think I am, because when it was X, I feel like I held him to a standard where I felt like, whether you like him or not, him putting his hands on his girlfriend was wrong. And I stated that multiple times, and I got fucking hate in my comments for saying that, for voicing that. Even though I felt, a lot of pain in my heart continuing on with that documentary and just watching his life tragically end, I still felt so much compassion for him. But you can still, two things can be true at the same time. You can call out someone's wrong while still feeling empathetic for the situation that they ended up in, right? But this it just seems calculated. It seems like a bitter ex to me. Because how are you going to say that you forgive someone, but then constantly make them feel wrong for a decision that they outwardly apologized for? you chose to forgive, and you're going to constantly hold that over their head. What is anyone supposed to do? How is that manipulative for him to be making music about the fact that she, won't forgive him when you actively chose to stay? When you chose to stay, in my opinion, that is you telling him, I forgave you for this. You have to move forward. Otherwise, you need to leave the situation. That is just as toxic and manipulative to stay in a situation with someone after you say you forgave them and constantly making them feel like they have to pay for their mistakes over and over and over again. How do you ever grow? And the only reason I stand by that is because I was that toxic individual holding things over someone's head because of my hurt and because of things that I couldn't move past. And it made it an unhealthy, unfair dynamic where I was like, okay, at some point I can't forgive you for what you did. I'm never going to be a healthy partner again, because that's always going to be in the back of my mind. It's always going to be an argument that I'm going to keep coming to. Arlo, shh. No. Sorry. I just feel like that's manipulative in my humble opinion. I think it's wrong.
Juice was allegedly lying the entire time. He tried to flip the script on her and tried to make it seem like she was the one that was being the toxic figure. She would then explain how Juice apparently forced her to drop out of school as he could provide for her. She would even show text messages from this incident, which read, I'm going back to...
I'm gonna read these. LOL, no MF, I'm talking about like in the future. I want you there every day. Facts. She says, I'm going back to school, like in school in September. Like, I can't just go everywhere with you all the time forever, because then I'd have like no job, no degree, and be a bum doing nothing. Not true. LMAO, I would help you get to your career goals. No bum shit. LMAO, success together type shit. Okay, I feel like maybe, am I being biased? Truthfully, if I'm being biased in the comments, please let me know. I could understand how she could feel pressured, but I'm also not seeing, I hate when I can't see the full fucking context of messages, because if I can't, Arlo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? You need to take a nap. Anyways, I just cannot imagine, let me articulate my thoughts. I don't like not having the full context of the messages, because if you show me this snippet and you say this is your evidence for him manipulating you to drop out of school, I'm not seeing anywhere in these messages him demanding you to not go to school, that you're not going to be together if you go to school. All I see him saying is, I'm living this life, let me bring you along. And truthfully, I don't think anyone, like, I understand, do what you need to do as a woman. You want to get your education. It's not giving he forced you to drop out of school. It's giving you made that decision. I can see him saying, he wants this life for you guys, but you had every right to say no. I just don't like that fucking, it just irks me. It just gives she was the toxic one. But who knows? Maybe I'm not giving this man enough time to fucking explain what his point is, what the narrative is.
In school in September. Like, I can't just go everywhere with you all the time forever, because then I'd have like no job, no degree, and be a bum doing nothing, sob emoji. Not true, LMAO. I would help you get to your career goals. No bum shit, Lamau. Heart. Success together, tat sheet. Now, the way she said in that video, it made it seem like Juice literally forced her to drop out. Like, drop out or I'm doing this, no. But it was actually up to her. He just provided the opportunity that she can just basically live off him. He never forced her. She would then explain further about Juice's weird behavior.
He was very controlling. He wanted me there with him constantly. Every show, every flight, every meeting, every car ride, every studio session, everything. Over time, he also had me give up my apartment because he said we were going to get a house together. We didn't. That was another lie. We were literally homeless, living out of a suitcase for 6 months, and that was terrible because I needed an address. I have BPD. I have borderline personality disorder. It's like, kind of like bipolar, like depression, and the lifestyle we were living was making me very sick. Like I needed medication or therapy because like it was giving me anxiety and it was making me very depressed. And since I wasn't working or in school or at a home, it made me feel worthless, and it made me feel like I was living off of somebody else's, and that is not what I wanted to do. I'm a very independent person, and I wanted to be put into a position where I could make my own money and do my own thing, and that's just like not what was going on at all.
So, if you're an independent person, you need to make your own money. You need to make your own decisions. Fair. That is 100% fair. But no one was putting a gun to your head telling you you had to do that. At any point, you could have chosen yourself over a relationship. And I know that that's like a harsh truth to face. And I think a lot of people, when they go through bad relationships with bad endings, a lot of times, and I can say this wholeheartedly, we like to put the blame on someone else. But there are some things you have to take accountability for, and you have to take accountability for the fact that maybe you made the wrong decisions. You made the wrong decisions. And that's a harsh reality that a lot of people don't want to face, but like, how do you ever fucking grow into being a better person if you don't take accountability for your role in things? And I think that's what irritates me. And I understand she's got, borderline personality disorder. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what living with what that is like. I don't know, maybe that has affected how she went about things, the decisions that she made. I can't speak to that, but what I can speak to is your accountability as a person in your own life. I don't know. It's just hard for me to go with the narrative that Juice made her do all of these decisions. It sounds like Juice wanted her to, and she maybe felt pressured to make those decisions to stay with him instead of standing on her own business and being like, no, this is what I want in my life. This is what I want to do. If you want to be with me, then this is what's going to have to happen because I have my needs. She had every right to say that. She made the decision to stay with him, to live the life that he was living. She didn't have to do that. So how are you going to make the conscious decision? You have your own free will. You made those decisions, but you're going to complain about the ramifications of that. I'm sorry, that just sounds like a personal issue to me.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what she meant by took her apartment, but apparently he promised to get them a house, which I don't think was a lie, because him and Ali Lottie later down the line did end up getting a house together. Anyways, him and Starfire, they were together while he was blowing up, meaning he was traveling around the globe, performing, recording, and meeting new people. He wasn't going to settle down in some apartment while he was blowing up. In this next segment, she would then explain how apparently Juice was giving her sweets, which she then got addicted to.
After a while, I started to not really care because he started giving me these that I never did before that I ended up addicted to. And so I was just high, all the time, not really giving a fuck, just kind of like floating along. But to be honest, deep down I was like really depressed and I really needed help. And I told him this, like I started literally having suicidal thoughts, and I told him this, like I was scared of what was going on in my head. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't care.
Now, I'm not really sure what to think of this. Yeah, Juice apparently gave her sweets and some substances, but again, I doubt he was forcing these down her throat. She had the choice of taking them. And then, as well, she tried to blame the addiction on him. I mean, it was probably a bad choice from her to become so reliant on someone who was a sweet addict himself. The dude probably didn't know what was going on half the time, apart from the fact he needs to perform and record music. He could barely take care of himself, let alone another person. Star would then expose Juice for basically stealing her money and making more promises that he wouldn't keep.
I also didn't have a job. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier or not, but I didn't have a job. Jared made me quit. I was following him everywhere, but then he was using my money still, and it's like, why are you comfortable spending my...
How is he using your money if you don't have a job? What money was he using? Genuinely, I'm curious. I feel like I sound like a hater ass bitch in this video, I'm not gonna lie, but like, she's triggering me. She is triggering me because like, what? All I'm hearing is Jared this, Jared this, Jared this. He made me do this, he made me do this, he made me do this. I hit my vape, right? At some point in life, I had never smoked nicotine. I had never touched it until someone asked me if I wanted to hit their vape. Can I blame that person for being addicted to nicotine? Although I don't feel like I'm addicted. I think I make the conscious decision. But Can I blame the person for giving it to me for being addicted? No, I can blame myself for accepting it. Because I have my own free will. At any point in time, I had the I had the opportunity to say no. She had every opportunity to say no. I just hate this whole little narrative of he forced me to do this, he made me do this, he's the reason my life went to this. Just because you have regrets for making decisions that you shouldn't have, you cannot put all of the sole blame on your partner, because at some point you have to take the accountability and recognize maybe you were blinded by love. Maybe you were blinded by a relationship or the idea of what a relationship could be. And fuck, maybe if you would have stuck it out and given him time, all of those promises he made you would have been fucking, they would have happened. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like she really was a toxic person to be with. And like, I want to give her empathy. I understand she has borderline personality disorder. And like I said, I can't speak to that. But it's just sounding to me like whatever their dynamic was, if Juice was toxic, she was equally as toxic.
Money when I don't have a source of income. Like, he didn't have a debit card, he didn't have a phone, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a house, he didn't have shit. So I would have to put my debit card down at the hotels, right? And then I would check my card and all of a sudden it'd be -500, -500, -500, -500. And there were smoking fees from the hotel. I told him, I sent him screenshots, I told Bibby, I told these people, and they didn't do anything. He still has not paid me back to this day. In a total, he owes me probably about $10,000. Like, right before we broke up, he made me leave all of my clothes at his mom's house because he said that he'd buy me new ones. Guess what? Another lie. He didn't. I ended up having to spend some of my own money to pay for that shit. I wasn't even using him for money. I was very comfortable bringing a suitcase to LA and having my own clothes here. But he was like, no, don't bring a suitcase. Like, I'll buy this shit for you. Like, don't bring it. Like, that way we can get through the airport faster, whatever. So, and I didn't want to argue. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll leave it. Cool.
Now, this was definitely weird from Juice, and I can't think of a reason why he would do this.
And what's blowing my mind is I've traveled a lot. I've stayed in a lot of hotels. I've never in my life been able to stay at a hotel that would decline. She's saying her debit card was negative this, negative that. A credit card I could see, and maybe this is just semantics. Maybe she meant a credit card. But I know personally there is not a hotel that would let me stay if my debit card's declining. Let alone, like ACH withdrawals from your debit card that's going to leave your debit card in -$500. The math is not mathing. Just off of experience, traveling. There's not a hotel that I've ever stayed in that's going to let me stay with a card that's going to decline. You either pay with that shit in advance or you pay upon checkout. I don't know any hotel that lets you stay there and they charge you after the fact. Smoking fee, okay, I could see that. If that's what she's talking about, okay, I rest my case. If the cards, got charged for a smoking fee after the fact, okay. Okay. Then if that's what it was, then I will say no more. All I'm saying is the story, it's seeming a little inaccurate, not possible. Just based off of my adult experiences booking hotels, that shit is paid for before you step foot in the room.
Pretty sure around this time he signed a fat deal with Grade A and was also blowing up. He had more than enough money. What do you mean he didn't have a phone or a debit card? Either she's lying, or I'm guessing maybe because he was touring and traveling so much he just didn't bring his card with him, as it would have been too much of a hassle to keep around. Now, if you think what Starfire has said so far is bad, well, just wait, because it gets worse.
At this point, we were already fighting all the time. Shit was bad. But then guess what? It got worse. We started getting physical with each other. And it was both ways, I admit it. And it opened up the door to something that could have potentially been very scary. I would like to make it clear right now that he never beat me. He never put a fist to my body. But he has definitely picked me off the ground, slamming me into the wall and squeezing me so tight that I had bruises all over my arms, little fingerprints. He's shoved me into a bathtub where I hit my head on the wall. When we were fighting on the tour bus, it was to the point that his friends had to pull him off of me, and I ended up with a bruise and cuts on my leg that were so bad that I had a scar on my leg for months. That bruise was there, honestly, for probably 4 weeks. Like, I remember at the VMAs, his manager came up to me and he was like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, fuck, like, I didn't even notice. Like, I was so used to it at this point. Like, so I put makeup all over it. Honestly, I shouldn't have even gone.
Now, as I stated previously in the video, I'm not here to slander a dead man, and you should be taking everything she said with a grain of salt, as there is...
Which I am. And, like, see, this is hard, right? Because I've dealt with domestic violence in past relationship. So I'm never going to sit here and discredit anyone's story. And I didn't. You know, like in X's video, I was very, 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 very adamant on people slandering Geneva, especially after seeing the pictures, after seeing what I deem as solid proof and evidence of what was happening, her black eyes, like, you know what I mean? It's hard for me when she says he didn't beat me, but then goes on to explain all of these incredibly abusive situations that in my mind are categorized in the same scenario. If she's being left with bruises and, you know, scars and shit like that is, in my mind, the same ballpark. You know, like, I feel like she chooses her words very carefully. And I think that's what kind of concerns me, where I feel like she chooses parts of the story where, for example, she just said the relationship got physical and it went both ways. All I heard her say was everything that Juice did to her. I'm not hearing anything of what she did if she's saying it went both ways. You know what I mean? I feel like she's very careful with painting a certain picture, with leaving a lot of things out and only saying certain things that kind of go with her narrative. And I'm not here to victim shame or victim blame at all. Like I said, I've been through this shit in previous relationship. I understand what it's like. But I think it's a little hard for me. It's a little hard for me to feel like she's being 100% honest in her testimony. It's my opinion. It's hard because I never want to be a person that's like, that didn't happen. I just feel she's leaving something out. And it doesn't excuse if there was physical violence in the relationship. That does not excuse it at all. I will say that with 100% confidence. That does not excuse it. I just would like to know the full scope of the story, that's all.
Evidence, it's just word of mouth. However, she states that his friends and manager saw this as well, so I doubt it's not true. After this, Starfire would start wrapping things up by explaining their breakup.
Fast forward to when we actually broke up. I broke up with him twice. The last time I did, he ran out and got a tattoo for me on his neck. I'm pretty sure there's a video of it. He was with Trippy in the studio, like it might be on YouTube or something. And then we were like physically fighting, and he just started crying, holding on to me, like, you know, and I promised him, I was like, babe, I'll be right here, because he was gonna go to a show, and I was staying back to get my hair done, and I was like, I'll be right here when you get back, I promise. He made me wait in LA for 2 weeks, telling me he was coming back, and he never came back. I was literally left with nothing. I was jobless, I was homeless, I had no clothes, I had no money, I had nothing. He broke up with me through a text and never called once. To this day, he has never called me.
After this video was posted online, Juice would take it to Twitter and excuse his actions by claiming he was treated poorly and how now with Ali Lotti, his relationship is better than anything else he's been in. So it seems like they had a very toxic relationship, and from what Starfire said, it was predominantly Juice's fault due to his lies and false promises. Now, some of you might think, well, she's just making it seem like he did these things to make him seem bad. But Juice made songs about these situations with him and Starfire. In the song Alright, recorded on the 15th of June in 2018, Juice said, "She know when I'm telling a lie, she told me I'm like all those other guys," which is him referencing the many lies he told her. Then in that same song, I hate being reminded of him and Starfire. In the song Alright, recorded on the 15th of June.
It says, she say she know when I be telling a lie. She told me I'm like all those other guys. That's not him saying that he was lying. That's it. Sir, this narrator man is on my nerves. It says she say she know when I be telling a lie. Let me read. In my anxiety, I'm buried alive. Some of your words are fuel to the fire. Catastrophic when you ignite. Do you still want this? You decide. Well, all right. I feel like that is not him saying that he was lying. Okay. All right. I digress.
2018, Juice said, "She know when I'm telling a lie. She told me I'm like all those other guys," which is him referencing the many lies he told her. Then in that same song, "I hate being reminded of my past. It's not like it's easy to forget. You're hanging it over my head. For Christ's sake, teach yourself how to forgive," which could have been him referencing the incident when Starfire found about Bella. The fact he hates when people bring up his past, which is his old relationship with Bella. Then "you're hanging it over my head. For Christ's sake, teach yourself how to forgive." It's him explaining that Starfire made such a big deal out of it, using it against him, then complaining she won't forgive him for his action.
It's not even that she was making a huge deal about it. It's that she said she forgave him. And clearly that was not the truth. Like I said, that is just as toxic and manipulative. You will drive a sane person insane telling them you forgive them and treating them like they are still in the wrong. And like I said, I speak from experience because I have been on both sides of it. I have been the person being forgiven and not actually treated like that, and I've also been the person holding a grudge. And I understand how detrimental that can be to a person's mental health. And at some point, you have to fucking take accountability and recognize that you were wrong. And that's the thing that I think irritates me, is that I haven't heard her say and truly mean, I was wrong for this. It's Juice this, Jared this. My life is shit because of him. I'm sorry. That's hard for me. Because even fucking dealing with the fucking shit I've been through in my relationships, there are still so many things that I can look back on and be like, I was dead wrong for that. Even if those people were as shitty as they come, I can acknowledge that there were portions of the relationship where I was dead wrong. And that is shit that I had to own and grow from. You know what I mean? It's like at some point, like in every single toxic relationship, I really do believe there are points where you at some point are accountable for some actions. And I don't mean to discredit abusive relationships. I don't at all, because like I've been fucking saying, I have been through it. But there are also things that I had to take accountability for. Situations that I stayed far too long. Red flags that I fucking painted green over and over again. And you get to a point where it's like, you can only blame someone for so long before you have to start recognizing where you also went wrong. Where you also contributed to yourself being put in a shitty situation. You know? So like, I don't want this video to be me just hating on her the whole time, but I don't have respect for people who can't take accountability for their role in things. That's all. It's there are two sides to every story, and Juice isn't here to speak his, so it's like
However, in the song Bad News, fans theorized at one point either Star had a miscarriage or cheated on him, as in the lines, "I remember I was in New York when you called me, I got some bad news. When you called me and you said what you said, that shit hurt. Yeah, that hurt the worst. Said it was accident, I hope that wasn't on purpose. Only been 6 months but it feels like years." Now these lyrics shouldn't be taken with 100% certainty, as of course, many of them may have not been directly speaking about events that happened with Starfire. But with all this evidence, it's more than obvious their relationship was turning sour. But after they broke up, the two would interact again. It was only after Juice's passing in 2019 where Star would start posting about him shortly after he died. A couple of days after his passing, on the 10th of December, she would sell an exclusive story to the Daily Mail about their relationship and Juice's sweet addiction. During the interview with Daily Mail in 2019, breaking down in tears, Star said, "7 days away from me, he ended up in hospital. When he was away from me for 7 days, he ended up hospitalized from collapsing on stage. 1 year away from me, and he's dead." She also believed he took up to 3 of the painkillers at a dose of 30 mg milligrams at a time on top of sipping lean, which is just insane. And this was back in like 2018, 2017, so imagine the doses he was on in 2019, just before his death. She would then blame Juice's mental illness on him relying heavily on these substances, saying even when he had every reason to be happy, he still wasn't, and that's obviously mental illness. If you have family, girlfriend, money, you have the job that you want, but you're still unhappy at that point, your brain isn't working properly and you need professional help. Now it was when Starfire mentioned the fact that Juice promised to stay alive for her was when his girlfriend at the time, Ali Lottie, would get pissed off and start coming at Star.
He didn't like you. You literally ruined him. When I met him, you brought him so low, he didn't even know what to do with himself. The things he confessed to me and told me about you and about him and about the relationship and about everything. And this, you have to understand, me and Jared were friends for at least a year before we ever even saw, met, hooked up with each other. I have plenty of text messages. He used to come to me crying about the stupid shit.
As we can see, Star's and Juice's relationship went downhill, and Starfire.
And I think that's another point. I feel like you can't solely attribute Juice's mental health to his drug use, because I think a lot of his drug use came from his battle with his mental health. And it's like, it's sad, you know, like it's a fucking terrible cycle to be in. But I think drugs definitely contributed to his increased decline mentally. But I think Juice was struggling for a long time before he ever got into drugs. And I think drugs probably for a little bit distracted him from that. And sure, in the long run it made it worse, but I think she's kind of leaving out the fact that she probably was a very large detriment in his mental health as well. Oh, she just rose me all the way wrong.
Continues to make it worse after he died. There were many allegations in this relationship, and it's hard to see what bits were actually true. But luckily for Juice, after Starfire, he met his fiancée, Ali Lottie. Now, while Juice WRLD was alive, the two seemed like hip-hop's Romeo and Juliet, and like the sad boy Juice WRLD we all know, finally changed his ways and seemed happy. But unfortunately for him, it seemed like he didn't know who his fiancée actually was. So this poses the question, who actually was Ali Lottie? Well, firstly, it seemed like she just wanted the attention of any rapper she could get her hands on. She used to hook up with Smoke Perp during his peak in 2017, shared her affection for Offset and Trippie Redd on Twitter as well. Before she met Juice, she even recorded herself listening to All Girls Are The Same on the radio, saying she needs to stop listening to the radio, she needs to stop fucking rappers, and make her own lyrics to the song, saying, "You've got a small dick."
And this is why I can't listen to the fucking radio. I need to stop fucking rappers. You have a small dick.
So that gives us some perspective of the kind of person she was in the past.
Country friend from Alabama was the one who showed me Jared, and I remember him playing me 2 songs, and then we went back to this house, and it was like a couple of us there, and they were like, "Yeah, no, listen to Lucid Dreams." I remember sitting there in this guy's house, like watching this video, and I'm like, whoever the fuck this kid, like I couldn't even make out his face or who he was, right? I was like, I don't know who the fuck this kid is.
Now, as she just stated, that this is the first time she has ever heard of Juice WRLD, where she explains how she loved his music, which is very contradicting to the video I just showed you previously, where she was hating on it.
So I saw his music video, and I was like, I'm gonna play this shit. I don't care what studio I'm in, who I'm around, like I'm playing this shit. I was working at the club. I made them play like this. I was like, this shit is so fire. Like, you know, this is gonna be huge. And then I remember messaging him, and I had messaged him, and I was like, hey, I don't know, because when I did, he had like barely any, he had like, I wouldn't let anyone add, I didn't like social media, you know what I mean? So I remember being on his social media, I'm like, you have no followers, like for people that I would normally like be like, is this your song? I thought it was like a fan page. But it was actually, he was just that new that like no one knew him yet. And I'm like, I remember being like, I don't know if this is your like real page, but like whoever the fuck this Juice WRLD person is fucking fire. Like this music is like, keep it up. Like don't fucking stop. This shit's so good.
So as
Okay, so I know in part 4 of Into the Abyss, I kind of changed my tune on Ellie, but for those of you guys who paid attention, I've had a very difficult time feeling like she was genuine. And I hate to go back on my newfound respect for her, right? But she does still strike me as an opportunist. I feel like my first impressions of her were not all the way wrong. And I guess, since I haven't been, like I said, I haven't listened to Juice WRLD for long, like, really reacting to his music is, like, the largest scope of him I've ever got. So me seeing Ally for all of these first times, I feel like I've come at it very unbiasedly without knowing any of this history, and she didn't rub me the right way. And she still, I don't think, rubs me the right way. And I understand people can change. People can change. But, like, come on, y'all. Would I be all the way wrong to feel like she's an opportunist? I feel like she was an opportunist. For her to kind of already be in the rapper scene and kind of, you know, fucking around with different rappers, like, you know, okay, like, do what you want, right? You're a grown woman. But, like, for them to play her, that clip about how she needs to stop fucking rappers and, like, her kind of dissing Juice, but then in the next clip be pretending like the first time she ever, you know, heard his music, she was just so blown away. And, you know, I don't know. It's giving disingenuous.
He just explained she first ever heard of Juice WRLD as she liked his music before he blew up. So she contacted him on Instagram and they started going back and forth. A couple months down the line, the two would form a very close bond, especially over their mental health.
And just would talk to each other here and there. And then as time went on, he would go ahead and talk to me more about what he was doing when it came down. Like, he's like, I'm upset. And I'm like, okay, what's up? You know what I mean?
You're not used to guys hitting you with shit like that?
Yeah, no. Bro, you're just having a panic attack. Like, sit down. Like, he's like, what do you mean a panic attack? Like, no one knew around him what he was going through. I have anxiety. I have things like that. Like, a lot of when it comes down to that mental health. But I'm very aware of it. So I make sure that I have things that I would need for that.
Eventually, they would meet up, and once they met up, Ally said Juice basically kidnapped her, as once she met up with him, he didn't want her to leave.
Jared literally, he kidnapped me is the only way we could say it. Like, I don't own anything from my house except for my dogs.
Like, he wasn't trying to have you leave. He was just like, I want your presence.
No, he did not let me leave.
Right.
Like, I couldn't go get underwear from my old house. No, he bought me brand new everything. I didn't leave. Because then we were on a next tour. I had to go to Tokyo with him, or he wasn't going to go and do the tour in Tokyo.
After all this playing about, Juice wanted to make things official, which is when one day in a hotel with Ally, he wrote her a note. Do you like me? Circle yes or no. If you like me, still be here when I get back upstairs, and if you don't, I'm sorry, you're pretty, bye. He slid it under her door, and guess what? She didn't leave. Shortly after, they would move out to Juice's $6 million mansion in LA, and got her 2 dogs flown out to the house, where the two would settle. Now on social media, they seemed happy, healthy, got tattoos in memory of each other, and at one point even got engaged. However, behind the cameras it was awful. The two would be both drowning themselves in sweets and substances, leading to many mental health issues, and Ally having 3 miscarriages, with one of them being after he died. Now many fans tried to blame Ally for basically taking advantage of Jared, as he was 19 and she was 25 when they got together, and she also has a history of dating rappers. But I don't think that was the case. Personally, from when he was alive, you could see that they genuinely loved each other. There was none of this hoe stuff. Fans also tried to blame her for feeding him these sweets and substances. They even made compilations on YouTube of times she was supposedly a bad influence on him. But again, they were both addicts, and at one time, Ally literally left Juice as he wouldn't stop abusing these substances, where he had to stop using and plead her to come back. So Ally definitely wasn't the issue. I mean, Ally got them to regularly attend doctors before he died, and had blood work sessions booked 2 weeks after his death. Ally even explained how Juice WRLD desperately wanted to have a child.
Was going to the doctors, like, for a couple months. I didn't let him. He wanted to have a kid, literally. You need to wait. You need to, like, if you could take care of dogs before you get me fucking pregnant, because I'm 26. I've been waiting. I'm good. I'm good. Unless you show me you're going to be the best dad in the world, I don't want... Go ahead, go in there. I don't want to have a kid.
Now look, while Juice was alive, they were happy without a doubt, but unfortunately after Juice's tragic passing in the December of 2019, it seemed like Ali Lottie didn't care to hold down Juice WRLD's legacy. She would firstly turn into a bit of a psycho, going on Instagram Live multiple times, creating the conspiracy theory that Juice WRLD's death wasn't caused by an overdose.
I'm mad because literally I'm like, oh, blah, 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 you guys think he died from a drug overdose. You're wrong! You're wrong! Literally, you're wrong! So suck a dick, okay? Suck a dick. There's a lot of shit y'all don't know that I fucking grieve through myself while I let y'all grieve and talk mad shit on me.
She would also start an OF page, which itself wasn't disrespectful to Juice WRLD, but it was when she started using her and Juice WRLD's private movies to promote her page. She would also start selling Juice WRLD's old clothes, then she got a new teenage millionaire boyfriend while she was pushing 30. He was seen wearing Juice's jewellery. Overall, his relationship with Ali Lottie had some bumps and cracks. However, that is all relationships. They'll never
see, like, it's hard because I can recognize that Juice loved her. That's one thing I can't deny. Juice fucking loved her, adored her. It's just really hard, and I'm not saying that she didn't love him, but I'm sorry, it just still screams opportunist. And I think two things can be true at the same time. I think she could have gotten into a relationship with Juice from an opportunist perspective and genuinely fallen in love with him. I think that can be true. Both things can be true at the same time, I think. But I do feel that there's a lot of red flags with her still. I'm sorry. It's so hard for me to see Ali as an angel. And I understand Juice wasn't an angel either, right? I feel like he was a lover boy. Maybe, you know, he was overly possessive. But I still don't feel like anyone was holding a gun to any of their heads, you know? Like, when he's like, you know, and I know it was all in, you know, fun and love. You know, he kidnapped me. Like, I just don't like the narrative that, like, Juice forced all of these women to be with him. I think he just really fucking wanted love, and he was scared that if they left, they wouldn't come back. And I'm not saying that's a healthy way of loving. I think that was something that he probably needed to work through and probably needed help with, and could be considered a toxic trait for sure. But it's kind of hard for me to look at Ali, especially, I think it's mainly how she was after he passed that kind of rubs me the wrong way. It is like, just like the OnlyFans shit mainly is what really fucking is weird to me. I can't imagine like my partner who I was madly in love with passing away, and then one day I use our intimate moments as a way to get clicks on my OnlyFans. Especially after someone passes away. I think that's like the most disrespectful thing you could ever do. Like, who in the fuck deserves to see Juice like that? No one. Those are memories and moments and intimate films you made with the love of your life that you probably never would have fucking exposed or put out there if he was still alive. You know what I mean? Because, like, if that was something that they both wanted to do while he was alive, and that shit came out while he was alive, that's one thing. But I find it hard to believe that it just so happens to be after he passes away that she feels comfortable to post those. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was shit that was leaked while they were together. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. I haven't heard that anything like that happened while he was still alive. So it's just kind of like some things just genuinely don't rub me the right way with Ali. And like I said, I'm not denying that she loved him. And I know for a fact that he adored her and probably would have fucking did everything he could to make her happy. But like I said, in Juice WRLD Into the Abyss Part 4, how you fucking treat someone after death, I feel says a lot about how you felt about them when they were alive. But that's all I've got for the many toxic relationships of Juice WRLD. I feel like I went hard on these women. Besides the 14-year-old girl. you know, I didn't go hard on her. I still don't think that Juice was predatory for dating her, because like I said, he said in this video that he turned 18 while in a relationship with her. They were both in high school. So how is it an issue for them to be in a relationship at 14 and 17? It's not an issue, but it's an issue as soon as he turns 18. And I wonder what her parents were doing. If it was this big of a deal, where were her parents? What were her parents saying? You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Let me know if you guys think I was too harsh on all of these women. I'm open to hearing your guys' opinions. This is only one film, right? Only one narrative of the relationships with him. I'm sure there are so many other stories and two sides to every story, right? This is just one painted image of it. But that's all I have for today's video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for engagement. I will see you all in my next video. Love you guys.